Hi everyone, it's me, Justina. Welcome back to Investigative Sophism. And let me dive into today's topic, which is something that, I realized that I cannot finish the third season of my podcast, which is all about empowerment, right? Without addressing this one thing that is such a big deal. It's such a big deal, and yet I've been sort of kind of mentioning it. Like I had some articles pointing to good resources, but I wanted to address this thing very directly in this one, which is the importance when we talk about empowerment, how we feel, how we are, how we show up in this world. Of course, that's the point, right? To show up how we want to show up and to be the real, authentic us. The importance of taking care of our health. And I don't want to say just, but I will say still just mental health, but our physical health as well. And obviously, yes, we know that it's the thought that leads to a feeling, and from the feeling, then we take or don't take a certain action. So what I think will determine how I feel, and from that state, I will operate. So obviously, thoughts are very important, and they do have the power to change our neurochemistry, what neurotransmitters will be released, like of course. And it's not a but, and we have to talk about the physical health. And for a very simple reason, because we cannot, not in 2023, right? We cannot separate the body and the mind. And I will invite you to do something, to reject something at the very end of my episode. I will say it again, but I'll go to this topic of body and mind. But the very basic, right? The very basic understanding that we cannot intellectualize ourselves into health. That there are things that are physical, they are, both internal and external, some things that we have to do, and thoughts alone, no matter how important they are, and once again, they're very important, the thoughts alone will not be enough. And I have to say, it took me many years, my life, it took me many years to understand it, but also to put it in practice. So let me tell you, for the first 24 years of my life, I wasn't really exercising too much. Like I was, I'm from Lithuania, so I was kind of forced to play basketball in school, as everyone was, mostly. So I would move, I'm also from a village, so I kind of move around. I was also helping my parents in doing some farm work, so movement was not unknown and foreign to me, but I didn't really like it. And I was, as a child, you're probably not going to understand why it's important, but then, hey, as an adult, I think there are many benefits of understanding it. So in my case, I was not really moving too much, and I, didn't like physical education. I was like, no. And I would really, for many years, I would base my identity a lot on, I'm the smart one, I'm the funny one, and look at me. Like I wasn't really arrogant that much, at least I don't think, but I would really think that this is what I have to focus on, right? Invest in your mind, invest in your knowledge, invest in your education, which I am still a very big fan on, and like 100%. But I was really neglecting that physical side. And only then, when I was 24, I was 25 maybe, then I started running, engaging in other types of movement, like yoga was kind of like I was trying it for some years, and I got more into that, and then a little bit of functional training. And now it's been, 10 years, now movement has become, because I've, formed very consciously, I've formed a habit, movement has become part of my life. I am by no means any fitness trainer or, health coach. That's why I cannot give you any specific advice and say this is what you have to do. I can only say, oh my goodness, there are these tools that you will really benefit from. There's a type of knowledge that I'll be pointing to and linking, right? Saying, listen to these experts. But so I was really, for a long time, I honestly, sometimes I think I wasn't even hydrating properly. Like, what was I drinking? So my background is very much not what I'm talking about today. But precisely because I've changed, I feel like I can talk about it. So when you look at your health and how you feel, right, and how empowered or disempowered you might think you are, please, 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 please don't think that your physical state and how you take care of your body, that that's irrelevant, that that has no effect on how you are, how your energy levels are, how alert you are, how you show up for yourself and others, and obviously then what kind of self-image you're forming and how you see yourself, because some things can remind you that, hey, I can do this, look at me, right? And then the self-image changes in a healthy way. So please, 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 when we talk about empowerment, don't forget that dimension, because that dimension is a very, very, very important one. And what goes in that dimension, we know that, and this is what researchers, obviously doctors, what they've been pointing to us, at least several categories of sleep. So please, please, please don't think that you can reinvent and sort of like decide how much sleep you have to get instead of looking into what research is saying, right? Because probably if you're sleeping like 4 hours a day, it's very statistically unlikely that you're performing cognitively as well as you could be if you slept more, right? So there are ways you can help yourself. So sleep, one, movement. Obviously, you know that movement, the best thing for mental health, the best thing for our brain health in terms of what helps more statistically, what has an effect that can be measured and that is positive and statistically significant. So movement. And obviously stress lives in the body, right? Stress lives in the body. We have to, if we don't have obviously limited mobility, in this case, I understand not everyone can engage in certain kinds of movement. But if we're not, movement is so important, right? And then of course, number 3, nutrition. How's your sugar doing there? How's your gut health? Are you maybe not as alert and awake and enthusiastic because of the food you're eating? And that's like a big deal for me because I know what sins I'm committing, on a daily or weekly basis. Number 3, natural light, the effect on light exposure, right? Natural light exposure. We know that if we get a little bit of it in the morning, it helps us start the day, and it kind of regulates our sleep cycle in a nice way, right? So I'm gonna put many links, by the way, and recommend a couple of amazing podcasts by doctors and researchers that have so much, and through their episodes, you can just move from a podcast episode. Who's the guest? Oh, maybe I want to check out what this guest has done. Like, oh my goodness, vast resources. Number 5, connection and meaning, being with others, fighting that loneliness, feeling connected. It doesn't sound like something, necessarily like physical, that there's an activity, but sometimes, yeah, to take your phone and maybe call someone, that could be a little bit physical. And then on top of everything, and which is something that I've been doing and I freaking love it, it's that healthy stress, right? So it could be intermittent fasting or time-restricted feeding, which are almost the same thing, but not exactly the same. Cold showers. I know that there is really no controversy about the benefits to your immune system, especially of cold exposure, taking cold showers, cold plunges. So everything's researched and still being researched, but everything I've said now, there's like nothing is controversial really. That's why me not being a health coach, not being a nutritionist, I can say, please, please, please explore these areas. And that's something I'm still doing, right? I said at the beginning, when I was younger, so focused on that intellectual side. Look at me, look at the knowledge that I have. And I was kind of disregarding how my body was doing. But that's still learning. Just that you're learning about how the body works and how to make decisions that are healthier for you. Right? That's still that same intellectual kind of element in choosing to learn about the physical aspects of your body when you think about it. So not even a separation here. And why is this important for your empowerment, for you to, lead a life that feels like yours? And I think it's because you probably want to have the energy for it. I'm not going to tell you what kind of energy you want to have and what kind of vibrancy in life. And it kind of doesn't matter what that is for you, but One thing I think applies to all of us, and I'm not definitely the only one saying this. This is not my quote, even though I think it's really freaking cool. Your energy, your energy is your responsibility, but also your energy, too, is kind of no accident, you know? Because there are so many things, there are some things that are not within our control, but so many things are. So do I move my body if I can? Do I get that natural light? What I eat? How much I eat? When I eat? Of course, everything's important. Do I connect with people a little bit? Do I sleep enough? All these things, they're kind of my responsibility. And they will determine very much what kind of energy I'll be bringing. So I invite you. I know I've been mentioning a lot, and I'm guessing some of you already, know something about what I've been talking about today. But two things. One, if it is new, instead of getting overwhelmed, thinking, oh my goodness, where do I start? Do I start with my immunosystem? Do I start with endocrinosystem? Do I read more about sleep? So instead of getting overwhelmed, I invite you to get curious and to think, oh my goodness, there are many topics, there are many themes, many spheres, many categories. Give me another synonym. To say, okay, what do I want to explore now? And just start there and see where it takes you. Because health is a very broad topic, I understand. And two, also not to get discouraged. Let's not forget that you don't need to suddenly become perfect in making these perfect, the healthiest always choices for yourself. You can just start with something. Oh, I drank more water today. Oh, I went to bed earlier. Oh, I went for a walk for 10 minutes. You know what? It was really cool. I'm actually visiting my sister now at the moment, and do I eat like chips and drink wine every weekend? Or with the chips more often? Yes. But it doesn't mean, just because I do that, doesn't mean that I don't work out. Or that doesn't imply that I don't drink water, or that I don't take a cold shower, let's say. Right? So doing things imperfectly is so much better than not doing them. Especially, that there are some things, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe if you're like a surgeon, don't perform a surgery if you cannot perform well. Like, yes, there would be some situations where I would take my words back. But with health, everything matters. Everything, every decision. And we know that this is what the science or the discipline or the concept of epigenetics also, what it tells us, that yes, we have our genes that we already have, but which genes will get expressed will depend on our environment, on our choices. So if anything, I hope it sounds more empowering, hey, talking about empowerment, than overwhelming, because there is so much to explore and you have many options as well. And I think it's really beautiful because we never know what's that next energy level for us. I myself, I didn't exercise for many years. I never knew that I could feel so energized and alive, let's say, after a certain type of workout that I really liked. I never knew that existed because I never did it, and now I know. I'm like, I feel like I'm in a good state, but there's a next level for me as well. If I maybe just got that sugar, there are always things. So I think it's so nice and hopeful to realize that there is that next level, and I'm going to explore that a little bit every day. I think it can be just a very cool, exciting task to see that, if I care about myself, if I care about my energy, that's what I need to do. And for me, I have to say, everything changed really in my, don't want to say fitness journey, but like health journey, when I realized that, when I went more deeply. And when I found that why, not, in the looks, because yes, we all want to look a certain way, and I'm not going to deny that. But if I'm thinking, no, if I want to perform well cognitively, if I want to be alert throughout the day and not sleepy suddenly in like a midday, if I want to be focused, I need to work out, or I need to maybe not eat the whole time, or I need to drink more water. So if that why becomes more like, I want to be capable, or maybe I want to go on a hike when I have the chance, right? Oh, that's the why, because I want to do the things I want to do. Isn't that a cool kind of motivation? And I think it can be. And I want to leave you with two things. One, I once again, and this is something I mentioned at the very beginning, so I'm coming back to this topic, I invite you not to live in the paradigm that's from 20, 30 and more years ago of mind and body in that separation, because we cannot, neurobiologically, we cannot separate these two things. So one thing, don't live in that paradigm. Please leave that paradigm as soon as you can. And the second thing, I invite you to embrace, which is difficult, to embrace the paradox that yes, you are not your body, you are not your t-shirt, you are not your muscles, you are a soul in the body, and your body is not entirely you. But also, and this is where the paradox comes in, the body kind of is you, and it's very important. And it's very important to take care of it. And because of that, we cannot talk about empowerment if we don't talk about literally empowering our bodies, just taking care of our bodies and realizing that it's so, 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 so important, and that there might be, very likely there is, that next energy level for you. Next level of maybe not having some illnesses sometimes that we have because of our lifestyle. And many illnesses we know are because of our lifestyle. And I say that to myself as well. And once again, we just cannot intellectualize ourselves into health. And I like how some doctors, and I'm linking to really cool resources here, how they say that we don't need just to fight an illness. We need to create health with what we do every day. And I think that's so beautiful and so right. And that is very damn empowering. So I hope you feel more inspired and more curious than overwhelmed. And I hope that you see yourself once again as important enough to take care of yourself, because that is something within your control. And that is empowering, isn't it? I think it is. So thank you so much for listening. It was a long episode. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being curious, because you are if you've listened to this. And I hope to see you soon.